All right, I will start bringing folks in, but we'll give it a couple minutes just before we get started, okay?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, everyone. We're going to be getting started in a couple minutes. Thanks so much for joining us. Good morning, everyone. We're going to be getting started in a couple minutes. Great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Morning, Sheba. Thanks for being here. If other folks want to go ahead and introduce themselves in the chat box, lovely to know who's here this morning. Great to see so many familiar faces. Thanks, everyone. We're just going to give everyone the customary 2 or 3 minutes before we get started. Morning, everyone. We're just bringing folks in. We'll get started in a couple of moments. Hi again, Deidre.
Okay, I'm here.
Great.
That was fun. That was exciting. My blood pressure's up.
Morning, everyone. We're going to be getting started in a few moments. So if folks want to go ahead and introduce themselves in the chat box, they're more than welcome.
Deirdre, you can change your name on your thing, just if you click on the name and put yours in. It's coming up, Suey Manning.
I know, but I try to grab it and it does nothing. When I go to click on it, the little hand comes up and then the little hand opens and closes and it doesn't allow me to change anything.
All right.
Rename. Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We already have 40 folks in here. That's wonderful. So we're just going to give everyone, perfect. Thanks, Deidre. We're going to give everyone another moment. Great to see everyone. And if folks want to introduce themselves in the chat box. Hi, Dennis. Great to see so many familiar folks in here. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Sam. Hi, Jasmine.
All right. Cooking with gas. Thank you for coming, everybody. Really appreciate the support.
Thanks, Deidre. We're
Did you
gonna
make sure the volume is all the way up on that computer? It's,
It is, it's at 100.
okay,
Am I not very loud? Should I speak louder?
yeah,
How's this? Is that a good volume?
that's good.
Okay,
Yep.
that's my theater projection volume.
There you go.
Thank you. We're going to learn some great information this morning, which is we have Matt, who's an expert and a friend of United Way. So you're in for a real treat this morning. And I know I'll learn a lot myself. I always take away my own household finances information from these. And we do have 45 folks already in here. We're just going to give another 30 seconds because we still have people that are jumping in.
That's wonderful. I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well on this cold Thursday morning. Hopefully all are bundled up. We have such a great turnout. It's so wonderful to see everyone. We really appreciate you being here this morning. And so it is now my honor to introduce our president and CEO, Jeannie Montano, and I'm going to turn it over to her for a quick welcome. Thanks, Jeannie.
Thank you, Melissa. And it's so wonderful to see everyone. You know, there are some pluses to these Zooms. I feel like we get better attendance because people don't need to travel to get to a meeting and stuff. So thank you all for joining us this morning. And I want to welcome you to our financial literacy workshop on navigating household finances. I tell you, I wish I had these when I was a little younger and could definitely learn from them, but every time I learn something new. The United Way wants all families in Dutchess and Orange counties to be financially stable and independent. And we work to improve access to resources to alleviate short-term financial crisis in order to increase local families' economic positions. We also support the Cash Coalition that provides free tax preparation services to low and middle income residents. So if you don't know about that and you need your taxes done and you're low or middle income, you want to call 211 and you can set an appointment to get your taxes done. We also provide education through, financial literacy workshops like today that are bringing banking professionals to address topics of great concern. So today we are so pleased to have Matthew Agar, who is the manager of the Newburgh branch of Ulster Savings Bank with us, and he will be presenting. So thank you, Matthew, for sharing your expertise. And it will certainly be welcome at this time of inflation and uncertain, financial uncertainty. I know we're all feeling it. In addition, I want to thank Ulster Savings Banks for sponsoring this event. And for, all the support that they give to our United Way. We can't do these without, the support and the sponsorship. So thank you to Ulster Savings Bank. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my wonderful United Way team who put this workshop together, including Deirdre Sepp, Melissa Clark, Patty Ten, and Caitlin Hinton. So thank you all for coming. And I think now I'm going to turn it over to Deirdre.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I was a little late jumping in here because of some technical problems. But here I am, and I'm very excited to be here. I am a new AmeriCorps Vista with United Way working on issues of financial empowerment. So this is my first project, and I'm very happy to have speaking at my first event, Matthew, who is a banking veteran of over 14 years with Ulster County Savings Bank. And he is working in the Newburgh branch and has been there for 7 years. Matt utilizes a team-oriented management approach to make sure customer service is always prioritized. He's happy to work for a bank that supports local businesses and the community, and he's a longtime supporter of the Walter Hoving Home Drug and Addiction Treatment Center for Women located in Garrison. And we are also thankful because he works with the United Way as a community grant reviewer every year while serving other organizations as much as he possibly can. And we're just thrilled to have him with us this morning. Thank you, Matthew, for being here. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Deidre and Melissa and Jeannie. I really appreciate this opportunity to be able to speak to everybody and just hopefully share some knowledge and help everybody. So I just want to give a quick introduction and tell you a little bit about the bank. Ulster Savings Bank was founded in 1851. And we have 15 branches in 3 counties. So we're in Ulster, Orange, and Dutchess. And we have just over $1 billion in assets. We're a community bank. So we pride ourselves on supporting small businesses and our community. So today, the goal of this workshop is to provide you with timely, helpful tips to make household finances a little less stressful, because let's face it, with today, we all need a little less stress. So this is meant to be interactive. So please, when I'm going through stuff, if you guys have any questions, you can put it in the chat box and we can try to get those questions answered for you. And then also at the end, I would like to leave some time to have anybody ask any questions they might have. So I'm going to start off. I put together 10 rules for personal finance. So with these 10 rules, I feel like these are kind of like the starting points for at least having conversations about money in your household or with others. So the first one we have, if we could just move the slide along to the first one. Thank you. So the first one I have is accept 100% responsibility for financial decisions. So pretty much acknowledge that you're in control of your own household finances. So maybe you're not in such a great position. Maybe you are in a great financial position. At the end of the day, it's the cards that were dealt with, and it's up to you to make the changes that are necessary to reach your financial position. So really, it's accountability of taking charge in your finances. So my second one is focus on your own household. Don't compare yourself to others. That is just a recipe for disaster. Comparing to others is just not a good thing to do. It can cause you to go out and spend extra money because you're trying to keep up with another family, or you're in competition, or life is not a competition. Life is meant to be enjoyed and lived. It's not, I need to be better than this person, or, it's not for comparing to one another. And today, social media is a trap, in my opinion. You're on social media, everybody's on social media, and you're scrolling through and you see this person just took a cruise to Aruba, or it's not all about that. Appearances on social media may not be what it really is in real life. So again, social media is a trap. I really feel that you have to just focus on your own household, focus on your own goals. So the next one, my third one I have is late payments are dangerous and do not allow insurance coverage to lapse. So I think this pretty much speaks for itself, but I'm not licensed to sell insurance. So that's my little disclaimer before I say this. But what I can tell you, though, is that if you allow your insurance to lapse, even for a week, you can have huge problems down the road with insurability. So getting new insurance or getting insurance for anything can negatively impact your risk rating. And your risk rating has to do with pretty much like your risk for insurance. So biggest thing is to use Excel if you have Excel, or any type of program where you can keep track of due dates of any of your bills. And that way it's in one place and you can see all of your due dates and when your payments are due. And in today's world, you could set up automatic payments. So the money automatically comes out of your accounts and is paid on time. So that's a good tool that you can use. And so my fourth one is plan for the unexpected. So some of you might say, well, what? That doesn't even make sense. How do you plan for the unexpected? Well, it does make sense because let's face it, we all have things in our house or the places that we're living that are getting old. You know, how old is your fridge right now? Is, you know, if your refrigerator is going to go eventually and you're going to need a new refrigerator. Is your car out of warranty? You know, maybe you just paid off your car and the warranty is over with, and now something breaks down on your car. So there's all of these unexpected things that we're going to need to pay for eventually to just survive and get through. So it's really important to plan for that. So set money aside for those unplanned expenses. So at the time it comes to pay for those things, it's not going to put you in a bad mood because you have the money. It's all about keeping a positive attitude as well. So the more planning you do, the less stressful it's going to be at the times that it comes when you need that money to make repairs or do anything that you may need to do when it comes up. And so with planning for the unexpected, that means, you know, putting money aside into a savings. You know, every time you get paid, I'm sure everybody is out buying coffee at Dunkin' or Starbucks. And today, I think, you know, a large drink at Starbucks can be $6 and up. You know, one time a week, take that $6, or 2 times a week, don't get that cup of coffee and put it in a separate account and just kind of stash it away. And that's a good way to help build a savings. You know, doing that for a year, that will add up so quickly, you will be surprised. So the next thing is read the fine print. So everybody has subscription services now, you know, Netflix, Disney Plus, you know, all of these streaming services, or Amazon Prime. You know, people may not have Amazon Prime, but they want that 2-day shipping. So they go ahead and hit that free trial. And then they maybe don't want Amazon Prime. And then a month later, they're getting billed now for Amazon Prime and they forgot. So read that fine print. You know, maybe you're going to get a month for free. And then after a month, you're going to start getting charged for that service. So, you know, it's really important to read that fine print because things can be sneaked into it that you may not realize when you sign stuff. So, and then today, debit cards. Debit cards is the modern convenience that we all have. I know myself, I'm guilty of this. I don't really carry cash and I use my debit card for everything. The problem is with that, when you have a card, it's so much easier to just swipe your card and not hand that cash over to pay for something. And when you're swiping that card, you're not necessarily keeping track of how much you're swiping every time you swipe it. So it's very easy to fall into that trap of swipe, 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 and now all of a sudden the money is disappearing and you're not realizing it because you don't have that physical cash in your hand. So as much of a convenience that debit cards are, we also have to be careful and just keep track of every time we're using that debit card. Knowing your balance in your account that debit card is linked to. You know, that's why we have tools today. There's online banking, there's text banking, there's different ways that you can check your bank accounts. I know one thing we have here at Ulster, you could actually set up an alert so that you get an alert on your phone or in your email every time you use your debit card. And that way, it's kind of in your face and you don't forget about it that your debit card was used. So that's a good way to just keep it top of mind that you made that purchase. So moving on. So number 7, know your credit score. So credit is a big thing. Your credit score is not a fixed number. So a good way to think of it is as moving along a sliding scale as you make financial decisions. It measures your credit reputation. That's what your credit score is. It takes time and effort to build it, and monitor and check it periodically. So there is some reputable websites that you can use to check your credit. Some banks have a direct link with their online banking that you could actually use and utilize to click on and get your credit score. So it's important to pay attention to your credit score, and really monitor it and see how it's moving or progressing or how it dropped, and understand the things that make it move, taking out a car loan or frequent inquiries on your credit. All of these things have impacts on that score. So it's things you just want to think about and pay attention to, and really look at your score. A lot of people, it surprises me that they don't even think about their credit. They come into the bank, and through my experiences, you say to some people, well, what do you think your credit is? Or maybe it comes up in conversation for whatever reason that it's talked about. And people say, I have no idea. I really don't know. And they just, have no idea. So, I mean, a general rule, and again, I'm not licensed to really talk credit, but I know that a lot of different qualifications are, and it varies on whatever you're applying for, but I guess generally a 680 or better is a general rule for when you're applying for things. And don't hold me to that, but that is just a general, I believe, number that is looked at. So the other thing, the number 8 that I have is talk about money. And we're going to lead into that a little later, but it's important to just talk about it with your spouse or significant other, and have those conversations, even with your kids. I think today the biggest thing I see is that money is not spoken about in the household. And that could lead to some tension. And again, if you're not planning things together, or if you're not planning for those rainy days when you need to spend money, it causes stress. So having those money conversations are very important. And then so each goal should have its own account. So think of this as like a modern envelope system. Your checking account is for everyday expenses, but do you have a savings account, or is all of your money just going into one account? And you say, well, I'm going to spend all of this for my bills because I know this is how much my bills are, and whatever's left, that could be my savings, but it's all sitting in one account. Well, if you look at that account every day because you're spending and paying bills and you just have one account, even though some of that money might be your savings, if it's in that one account and it's accessible, more likely you're going to spend it because it's right in your face and it's always there and accessible. So open up a savings account. Have the money that you are setting aside for a savings put in a separate account that's maybe not as easy to access, and you don't have a debit card that's linked to that. Some people will even have their checking account at one bank and put a savings account at another bank. It's very inconvenient because you want all your accounts in one bank because you want to be able to move money, but you have your checking and savings in one bank, but then maybe have a secondary savings at another bank, or a secondary savings in a CD at the same bank. So a CD, you pick the term and you put that money in that term, and essentially you can't touch it for that term that it's in. If you touch it, you pay a penalty on the funds that you're withdrawing. But that is a form of savings. Something that Ulster Savings offers is a vacation account or a holiday account. And with the vacation or holiday, a lot of people don't even realize we offer this. But with the holiday account, you put as much money in as you want. And every October, we direct deposit the balance in your account, your holiday account, right over to your checking account. And then that is your money to spend for the holidays. And you were saving the entire year, not even realizing it if you set up an automatic deposit to it out of your payroll or whatever you may get. You just forget about it. And then every October, now you have this money and you're set for the holidays. And then with our vacation account, which is really cool, you put as much or as little as you want in that account, and then you're allowed to withdraw from it a couple times a year when you would essentially go on vacation. So that's another good way to just kind of stash money away and save. And then my last thing is just being good with money. It takes effort and discipline. So people view money differently. We all know people in our lives, there's spenders and there's savers. And we probably have, at least one relative who refused to spend more than $5 on sunglasses. Regardless of how you decide how much you spend or save, and with help from a few experts, you can meet or even exceed your financial goals, is what it really comes down to. It does take discipline, and it takes time and effort to think about your money and make it a priority. And to just be aware of what you're spending on a daily basis. Like I said before, do you need that cup of coffee every day from Starbucks? Or can you maybe buy your own coffee at home and make it before you go to work every day? Right there is a huge savings. And that difference in what you're spending for Starbucks to compare to buying it and making it at home can go right into a separate account, and you won't even miss it because you were going to spend it anyway.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
There have been a couple of questions in the chat.
Sure.
You already answered the one about a good credit score, but people want to know if we can have access to your presentation after. So is that possible to have a copy of your presentation after the workshop is finished?
I can answer that, Kendra. Yes, we are recording this workshop, and I would say a week or so, it will take us to get that up on the United Way page. So I can put the United Way URL into the chat and tell people where to go for that. And we'll also have a Spanish version up as well.
Okay. Also, another question that was brought up was, what is a good age to start talking to your children about credit and money?
Yeah, so a good age, I actually have a 4-year-old, and right now I have bought him a cash register, and we use money. He sets up a store, and I go in and I purchase from his store, and he's running the cash register. He doesn't know to give me the right change. He actually likes to give me money when I'm buying things instead of me giving him money, but at least you're introducing money at that point. And your child can see, okay, this is money, and, oh, I have to give this to you in order to get something. So you're already introducing that exchange of money for goods or services at such a young age. So really, I suggest you start it as soon as you can. And for me, like I said, I have a 4-year-old, and I'm starting it, and he's 4 years old. So we're just going to grow from there.
Awesome. At this point, I think that those were the only questions in the chat, but if we have any more, I'll let you know.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to move on now. The next topic is money conversations. And with this, it's discussing it with family, the ongoing needs, and planning for the future. And I kind of touched on all of this a little bit with the 10 points that I gave. But according to a 2014 study, almost half of all Americans, so about 44%, say that money is the most difficult thing to talk about. More difficult even than deaths, politics, or religion. So I know when I found this out, I was a little taken back by that. And that is because, you know, I am in the world of money, so I guess it's easy for me to talk about. But money concerns, though, like I was saying in the past, put strain on relationships, and conversations about money can be very stressful. And having family conversations proactively may help all of this. And that's one thing, you know, I touched on before is it's just very important to talk about money within your family, and have those conversations. And I think the more you talk about it, the less it becomes a thing. You know, it becomes second nature. Like I just said, for me, I'm in this business and I talk about it a lot. So for me, it's just second nature at this point. So talking money 101. So again, become comfortable with discussing your financial goals with your immediate family. Talk about saving with your children. Share the family budget with your teenagers. This is something that is great to do because you're showing your family, okay, here's our budget for vacation this year. Here's our budget for food. Here's our budget for, you know, whatever else it may be. But by sharing it with your teens, you're showing them that you have a budget in place and you're sharing with where you're falling financially with them. And then I think that may have them stop for a second and think about like, oh, wow, this week we're a little over budget with groceries. But I see that my parents are trying to make things work, or, you know, you want to be careful with that though, because you don't want to cause stress on your children either. So that's where it's a little taboo for people to say, well, why am I going to share it with my teens? I don't want them to know that maybe we're having financial difficulties. Well, if that's the case, there's so many resources that you can turn to get help. And, you know, United Way, like Jeannie said in the beginning, there's 211. There's all of these resources that you can turn to and get help if you need it. And you know, a lot of people are afraid to ask, and you just can't be afraid to ask for help. And I think if you share that with your children, you're not really causing stress, but you're also at the same time teaching them it's okay to ask for help. So I think that's really important. And predict the consequences of your household financial decisions. So, you know, realize, you know, try to, if I'm going to go on vacation, because I really want to go on this vacation, you know, can we afford this vacation? Or, you know, if I pull money from a different thing that I'm saving for, can I maybe use that to pay for this? Or, you know, try to predict what's going to happen if you spend too much money. Try to predict what's going to happen if you have extra money. Okay, if I have extra money, will I be frivolous and go spend it on something I probably don't need, or will I save it? Just by having that thought process, it will help you save money and make better financial decisions. So just some talking points that I put together. Money matters, like I said before, can be very sensitive. So these are some talking points that you can use when you're talking about money in your household. What plan exists in case there's an illness or injury in your family? Is there some type of insurance in place? But if you speak frankly about money and consider the emotional connection and symbolic value that children form with money when you discuss financial issues, that's a great thing. But you also want to have, like we were saying before, those age-appropriate discussions. educate your children in money matters should be timely. You know, you want to choose the appropriate times to share those situations with your kids. Use opportunities in daily life to speak about money. So, you know, every day, like we said, we're going to buy coffee or we're going to the grocery store, you know, use those opportunities to bring up, like, everybody knows that groceries are more expensive today. So when you go to the grocery store, it's a good time to bring up to your children, you know, groceries are a little more expensive today, or, you know, just talk about everyday life. And that can tie right into money conversations with your kids in your household. Consider your household financial priorities and include family members where appropriate. Again, this was something we already talked about, how you should include it, all your members of your family, and have this conversation. So that's what I have for the talking points and tips. The next thing I wanted to throw into this presentation, which I thought was important, is banking in a COVID world. COVID, you know, post-COVID world at this point, even though COVID is still going on, we're kind of toward the better side of it, I guess you would say at this point. But there's still a lot of scams out there. There's charity scams. There's fraudulent and fake stimulus offers that are still going around. The stimulus money seems to be coming to an end now, or it's halting. So now is a great time for these fake stimulus offers to arise, because people might be in a panic because these stimulus offers are going away, and then one pops up and that one is not legitimate, but they're now, oh, this is great, here's another stimulus offer. Well, maybe it's not real. You know, health provider scams, healthcare, you know, there could be fake healthcare scams going on, phony marketplaces. So there's so many scams that are out there. And, you know, say you want to donate to something, just do some research before you donate. You know, if something pops up on social media and you want to donate, do some research about it. Go out and Google it, see what you can find. Usually scams, if you Google something and it's a scam, it usually pops right up on Google that this is a scam, or somebody has been scammed by them before. So it's pretty easy to find out if something's a scam or not. It just takes an extra minute to do your research and look into it. And the government does not charge fees. Imposter demand payment for treatments of relatives. So unfortunately, I've seen a scam. It's been happening a lot. Everybody calls it the grandparent scam, but they reach out to grandparents on the phone and tell them that their grandchild has been in a car accident, or that they are into some type of trouble and they're in prison and they need bail money. You know, it sounds crazy, but it's not. And they tell them they have to go to the bank and withdraw money and purchase, it could be Google Play cards or anything like that even, and then send it to an address to save their grandchild. I've seen it happen too many times where, you know, at that moment, you're feeling like you need to help your grandkids, or you're feeling like you need to help your family. So in your mind, you're going to do whatever you can to help them. And so that's what the scammers do. They're taking advantage of your vulnerability and your compassion for your loved ones. So you have to just be aware, you know, does it make sense? Stop and ask yourself, does it make sense that I'm going to buy cards from the store, prepaid cards to send to them? Why would prepaid cards be necessary? So you have to just stop and ask yourself sometimes, does it make sense what I'm being asked to do?
Thanks, Matt. And we do have a few questions. We have one about how to start saving for a child's college. We also have one when we talk about savings, how do we best invest our savings to create the best income yield on our money? So that's 2 of them. And there's a couple more if you want to start with those 2.
Sure. So to save for college, so we offer, it's called a custodial account. So you would open the account up, it's for your child, but there's one, it could be a parent or guardian. They are considered the custodian on the account, and you can start putting money into that account right away for them. And that's a good way to save for college later on. We have a financial specialist. And most banks do, and you can sit down with your financial advisor, and sometimes they have college plans that they can offer you where you can put money into them and have a savings plan for college that way. And then as far as investing or having the best yield or return for your money with a savings, there is a lot of different products out there that you can use. Like I said, one way is certificate of deposit accounts, and that's a set time that you put a certain amount of money in. And for example, you could choose 10 months and then the money would be there for 10 months. Usually certificate of deposit accounts pay a little bit higher interest than a savings account would. So you could do a CD. There's also money market accounts, which is a glorified savings account pretty much. But what's nice about the money market account is you could put your money into it, and then you have a checkbook that you can actually use to write checks from it. And the money market accounts usually pay a higher interest rate than a regular checking account would. The only thing with these is you just have to look, because some of these accounts require minimum balances. So you just want to pay attention. Like I said before, one of my points was read the fine print. So just, find out what those minimum balances are or the rules or regulations for those accounts to see if there's any fees that may be involved with those accounts. And maybe those fees are worth it, but it's just something to be aware. And then also, having a financial advisor, talk to a financial advisor. I'm not one myself. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but we have a financial advisor within Ulster Savings Bank. And most banks do. They have a financial advisor that you can speak to wherever you bank. And then they can help you maybe invest your money in something different that the bank can't offer you.
Thanks, Matt. We'll just do 2 more for now and then we'll keep going. What is filing for bankruptcy? And this one's a little bit difficult. Any tips for figuring out money during a divorce?
Yeah, fortunately, I'm not an expert in those fields. Bankruptcy and all that. Yeah, I don't really have any tips for that. I stick to the banking and saving side of things, unfortunately.
Thank you. We can keep going.
All right, so moving on. So safeguarding your information. I just wanted to put this in the presentation today because I felt like this is very important, because everybody's vulnerable with all of our personal information and passwords. So do not share your passwords. Make them hard to guess. Don't make them something that's easy, like your pet's name. Update your computers and devices frequently. Every time those updates pop up when you turn on your computer, make sure you're doing them. I know we like to hit snooze and do it later, but don't do that. Make sure you're doing those updates on your computer or your programs. It's very important because usually they have the most recent software to help protect you. If something looks off, don't continue. Your gut is your best form of judgment. If something just doesn't feel right or it looks off, then just don't do it. Increase your security by using multi-factor authentication. So what that means, you sign into, for example, your online banking. You have a username and a password. Great, you put your password in, but guess what? Now you have to also get a code in your text message and put the code in that you received in your text. So if you're using different programs or signing into different things and they offer multi-factor authentication, sign up for that. That adds an extra layer of security when using that. And then another good tip is uncheck the remember this device box. Say you lose your phone for some reason and you don't have it locked, and somebody goes in and they try to sign into your online banking. If you checked off remember this device, maybe it's going to automatically sign them in because you checked that off. So it's just good to have that requirement for the password or passcode each time that you log in. And then I like to add on here, because we're living in the digital world today, and I feel like email is used a lot. So if you're not expecting an email, be careful when you're opening the attachment. So for example, I'm at work, I have Amazon. I should not be getting an Amazon Prime email or that your Amazon order has shipped to my work email, because that is not the email that I use with Amazon Prime or on Amazon. So does it make sense that I'm getting this email at a work email? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense that I'm receiving an email from somebody I never talked to. So I just have this email here that I wanted to share with everyone, just so you could kind of see what a spam email looks like, or an email that's not legitimate and can bait you into something. As you can see, the email address is not valid. The attachment doesn't really look like it's a good attachment. The incorrect spelling in the email. A lot of this you see in spoof emails or phishing attempts. And phishing attempts is just an attempt to gain your information, to gain access. The poor grammar. And then there's an invalid signature. There's no name. It just says Apple. Usually if you're dealing with Apple and they're emailing you, if they email you, it's gonna be the representative that you were talking to. So this just points out some key things that come through. Usually the big giveaway in the emails is the poor grammar. And then moving on, some ways that you can access some bank services. And this is what everybody uses today. And that's why I felt like these points are important for security, is telephone banking. There's text banking, there's online banking through an app, and mobile banking. And then, a lot of people tend to forget this because maybe they just don't want to go inside, but there's our drive-up lanes. A lot of banks have drive-up lanes. You don't even have to get out of your car. You could go right to the drive-up lane and, you could do your banking that way. And, this was something that with COVID was huge. A lot of banks closed lobbies and you had to go to the drive-up. And it's amazing that a lot of people, even though it's attached to our building, they didn't realize there's an ATM or drive-up lanes. And then I just have some resources that I put together at the end. So there's some links you could go to. We actually partnered with EverFi, and you can go right to the ulstersavings.com website, and there's an education tool that we offer through EverFi that goes over money and finances and offers financial literacy education. And it dives a little bit deeper than what I did today, but it'll talk about credit cards and credit scores, and savings and college savings plans, and just general financial tips. So please utilize the links that I provided you with. There's some great resources out there, and United Way is one of them. United Way offers a lot of services that people are not aware of. So please reach out to them. They're more than happy to help. And Melissa and her crew are great people to work with. So that is all I have for you guys today. So please, any questions you guys may have, I'm here to answer for you.
Yeah, Matt, the chat box has been quite busy, so thank you so much. You really got everyone engaged and participating. What is an IRA is the first one I'm going to ask you, and then another one is, how can I get out of the credit card trap?
So an IRA is an independent retirement account, and this is an account you can set up to save for retirement. There's special rules that go along with an IRA. So you want to research and figure out those rules before you sign up for one, but it is a great tool to help save for retirement.
Great. If I think I've been scammed, what should I do?
So the first thing, if you think you've been scammed, contact your bank. You want to get your accounts locked down because you don't want to have anybody be able to access your accounts. Let your bank know right away you think you're a victim of a scam or identity theft. And then after that, go right to your financial institution. We offer, if somebody comes into me and tells me they think they're a victim of identity theft or they've been scammed, we will fill out, it's called an ID theft affidavit. And it just provides information to the bank about where you think your data was compromised or breached. And then we flag all the accounts for possible ID theft, and we put extra precautions in place to identify the individual associated with those accounts. And if you think your debit card was stolen, or a lot of things, or a lot of different ways you can protect yourself with your debit card is right on our app, and it's a cool feature that we offer. You can turn your card off on the spot in the app, and then that could prevent any charges from coming through in the future. So it's just a good tool. A lot of banks offer that today as well.
Matthew, that is such a good tool. I literally was walking into the grocery store. I pulled my gloves out, my debit card fell on the floor. When I went to buy my groceries, of course, I didn't have my debit card. Thank God I had another card because I don't carry cash either. And then I went, oh, it's missing. And I turned it off right on my phone. If there's anything you learned today, learn that one, because I did not know right away. And then I was like, wait, I called my bank. They're like, go right to your phone. I was like, I didn't know we could do it. They only got, I think they bought Taco Bell. That was all they got out of the account. But, that's such a good thing to know for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gina. Yeah, definitely happens to all of us. And this is an interesting one these days. What is Bitcoin?
So I'm not well versed in Bitcoin, so I don't want to speak on behalf of what Bitcoin is. But just do some research. Go out and Google Bitcoin. There's some great articles that are out there, and you can learn that way.
Great. Why do money market accounts pay out higher interest rates?
So a money market account typically pays out a little bit higher than a regular checking account because, like I said before, it's a glorified savings account. So a money market account is a savings account. You just have check writing capabilities with it. There is a limit, though, on how many checks per month you can write, and that's 6 checks per month. So that's just something to keep in mind. But the whole idea of the money market is to save. So it is just a savings account with check writing ability.
Great. And does your bank have fees for checking accounts?
We do have fees for checking accounts, but we have ways around those fees. One way is just have online statements. But with the accounts that we offer, we also offer a great app, and it's called Bazing. So just like today, Amazon Prime or other services, you pay a monthly fee to have. we kind of look at our service charge for our checking account as a monthly fee to get great offers with our Bazing app. And our Bazing app has local deals from different businesses. For example, where I'm located in my plaza, there's a pizza place next door. I think they offer 10% off your purchase at the pizza place. And that's an offer you can utilize with our Bazing app at a local business. So.
Great. My mom is older and still fears online banking. How can I assure her that it's safe?
So online banking is safe because your financial institution has to provide a safe and secure place for you to do your online banking. But you also have to assure her it's safe in the way that she's using it. You have to make sure she's aware of setting a complicated password or not an easy password to guess. But there's also password requirements that are in place today on online banking websites where they have to be complicated passwords and include numbers, characters, or special symbols. And then the online banking is a secure website. But really, online banking is as safe as you make it. If you're clicking on things that you shouldn't be clicking on and you're making your computer vulnerable, well, then maybe it's not safe for using online banking. So you have to ask yourself, it really comes down to a level of comfortability with yourself. Unfortunately, some people just don't want online banking. You know what? That's fine. We have the drive-up lane and of course the lobbies you could come into, and we love to see people. So the more people that come in, the better for us.
Great. And that kind of leads into actually the next question. If the economy tanks, how do I know my money is safe, like in the Great Depression?
Right. So banks, like our bank is FDIC insured. So the FDIC is government. So we insure the insurance is $250,000 and it's per account owner. There's also different ways around that to receive more insurance coverage with adding beneficiaries onto accounts. If you could go right out to fdic.gov, the website. It explains all about the FDIC insurance. And there's also a tool that they offer. It's called EDI. It's the Electronic Deposit Insurance Calculator or Estimator, sorry. And you can type in all of your accounts that you have and the titles of those accounts and the balances, and it will tell you what you're covered up to.
Thanks. These are kind of similar. How much money do you need to have a financial advisor and start investing? And continuing with saving for college for my kids in retirement, is there an account that can combine both? And what is the minimum to open an account?
Yeah, so with us, if you think you don't have enough money, we don't put a limit on, we don't put a minimum on speaking to a financial advisor. If you don't necessarily have enough money to start with your financial advisor, then you start with us and we will help you work toward that goal to get enough money to then turn you over to our financial advisor. And that's with maybe open the savings account or the money market account or a CD. And then with us, if we turn you over to our financial advisor and you're going to invest with them, if you're in a CD and you have to break that term early because you're moving it to the financial advisor, we will not charge you that penalty on moving it to the financial advisor.
Thank you. If someone does steal my credit card and charges things, how much am I responsible for?
So with that, every bank probably has their own different regulations or rules that they follow. What I would suggest is as soon as it happens, just go into the bank and file that claim right away. And then that can be addressed at that time. I don't want to give exact amounts.
Thanks. And I'll just personally speaking, I've never been responsible when I've had a few credit cards been compromised, right? We all have. So usually I feel like financial institutions are pretty forgiving.
Yeah. And for us, we give you that credit within 10 business days. And we call it a provisional credit because we will do the investigation to see if it's fraudulent. And then if it's not fraudulent, we just have a right to take it back. But we do give it within the 10 business days.
Thanks. Where are your other offices located?
So our other offices are located, like I said, we're in the 3 counties, but we have offices in Poughkeepsie, Hyde Park, Wappingers, multiple offices in Kingston, Saugerties, Phoenicia, Red Hook, and then of course, us here in Newbury.
Very good. And I know you work for a bank, so one person did ask, is what's the difference between banks and credit unions?
So like for us, we are independently owned. We do not have shareholders. We don't have members. We just have customers. So we are owned independently. Credit unions are usually owned maybe by shareholders, or they're ran by members. Unfortunately, fortunately, I can say with us being independently owned, we reinvest a lot of money back to the community because that's what we strive on. So.
Thanks so much. We have lots of great comments in the chat box. And I think we're almost done. It looks like we maybe have one more. I'm just making sure that we got them all. So the last one, any advice for people whose financial life has fallen apart due to whatever circumstances, in my case, divorce, where do we start to get help from financial ruin?
Yeah, kind of a tough question to answer because there's so many pieces to it. But I mean, the first thing I would say is look at your own income at that point, and see where you're at and try to come up with a budget to make ends meet. Maybe there's different loans out there where you can condense all of your bills and just have it put into one payment. Maybe there's different tools that's available. A lot of things just takes research. So if you just go out and do some research, then most likely you can find some answers for that.
Excellent. So if you all can just bear with me one moment, we are going to launch a quick poll before we go to our closing. So we really hope that you will participate in our poll. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch that now.
Matthew, this is great. I'm sure everyone learned something today. I know I did. I always do.
Same here.
Thank you. It was excellent.
Absolutely. So I did just launch the poll. So we'd love if everyone could, if we can get 100% participation, it really helps us as we start to formulate and put together our next financial literacy seminar. As Jeannie said, Matt, was absolutely amazing. I know I learned. So I made some notes to myself during this presentation. So I'm definitely going to take some of this advice to heart personally for my household. So I really appreciate that. And I only have one participant so far. So please go ahead and take the poll. And Val, if you can make sure at the end of it, we get a nice screenshot for our records, that would be great. And if my team can just put all of our resources in the chat box one more time, we just want to make sure everyone knows about all the fantastic resources that we have here at United Way. And I'm just going to give you a couple more minutes on the poll before we get back to our remarks. Looks like about half of you have participated, so please go ahead. Like about 3/4 of you have participated, so please keep going. The last 12 of you can participate in the poll. That would be great. I'm going to give you 30 more seconds.
I'm sorry, where's the poll
It
located
should
at?
just come up right on your screen. If it's not, if it didn't, I'm not sure.
It disappeared while I was trying to fill it out.
Oh, that's strange.
For me, it's already showing the results of the survey. There's no way to click the option to choose my answers.
I was gonna say the results popped up, so I think, I'm not sure if people can.
Okay, so it looks like it closed on its own. All right, great. So thanks. Hopefully, Val, you got some information and was able to screenshot that. All right, fantastic. So again, I just want to go ahead and give Matt and Ulster Savings Bank a huge thank you and appreciation. I know we asked a lot of tough questions, and like I said, learned lots of great information. I love the 10 personal rules. I thought they were excellent. And again, with the new year, right, trying to make sure that my personal financial strategy is improved. So hopefully you all took that to heart. Definitely looked like you were very engaged with all the fantastic questions. And Matt, thanks. I know, again, I know this is some tough ones, so we really appreciate that. I wanted to also just let you all know that Cash is accepting appointments for free tax preparation, as Jeannie mentioned. So you can call 211 today to make your free tax prep appointment, and the service is available in over 200 languages. And of course, you can call 211 anytime for any human service related question you may have related to housing or food or what have you. That is, service is available 24/7. And of course, our NOAP coordinators are here. If any of you, I know a couple of you mentioned in the chat box that you are having some, financial instability in your household. So I'm just going to give Kendra and Isabella a moment to introduce themselves and explain what the NOAP program is.
Hey, good morning. Isabella, did you want to speak first? And I'll
Go
just
for
begin?
it. You can go for it.
Okay, so Isabella and I are the NOAA coordinators for Dutchess and Orange County. And basically what we do is we go into the community and we try to find those that could possibly qualify for SNAP. Once we do a questionnaire, if we see that you do qualify for SNAP, we walk you through the process. We can help you complete the application either on paper or online. We help you get that application submitted. We collect your documents and submit them for you if necessary with the Department of Social Services. Once you get approved, we also have the opportunity to review the award letter to let you know whether or not you have received the correct amount of SNAP benefits. Also, when it's time for you to recertify, we can help you do your recertification as well. And Isabella and I are also both available to go into the community and present to various organizations with those that could possibly qualify for a SNAP. We could do a presentation and get their information and help them from there. So if you find that you have some people that you're working with that could possibly qualify for SNAP, or you yourself could possibly qualify, Isabella's and my information are in the chat. So please feel free to reach out to us, ask questions. We will let you know whether or not you qualify, and then we can help you from there. So Isabella, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, nothing really. You got it covered pretty nicely. So thank you, Kendra. And yes, Kendra covers Dutchess County and I cover Orange County. So if you have to get in touch with us and you're not in our counties that we cover, we'll just direct you to who can help you. But yes, Kendra, you got it perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to
Thank
give
you,
another
everyone.
huge round of applause to Matt and Ulster Savings Bank. And then I just wanted to turn it over to Jeannie and Deidre if they had any last minute remarks.
I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and thank you to Matt and Ulster Savings Bank. That was tremendous. Deirdre?
Yes, thanks to Matt and Ulster Savings Bank, and also to all of you attendees who came this morning, hung in there. I'm sure that if you have, specific questions or issues that you didn't bring up this morning, that Matt and his staff would certainly be willing to help you. And I'm sure he could also direct you to the other branches if you're in other locations. And also, if you are struggling with money issues, please reach out to us at the United Way, because we do have services that can help you, and we can make referrals to other agencies that can give you a hand. So don't let yourself, sit and struggle, especially if you're in financial ruin. You need to You need to get to a bank, you need to sit down with someone, and you need to figure out a plan. But thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.